everybody. Welcome to Ad America. I'm Aninda, one of the guests here in Ad America, and we welcome our audience joining us on this event. Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young donations to learn more about the United States. On this event, we'll be having writing a statement of purpose for U.S. graduate admission. But before we begin, how about we spice things up a little bit with a trivia? The question for today is it true or false? Modi Ayunda graduated from Stanford University with 2 postgraduate degrees in the period of time it takes to complete one. So, is it true or false? Take a guess and let us know on our answer on our chat box to find out who will get the live shout out in the end of this event. Now, without further ado, please welcome our advisor from Education USA, Kak Santika Salim. The time is
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining Education USA at America again. This is our first event of the month, and we will have another event this month, next week exactly. I have two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, at least eight audience watching me in person. Thank you so much for making time to commute to at America, Pacific Place Mall, Jakarta. I know a lot of you will be joining us online, and that is fine. One of the reason why we still keep our events live stream on Zoom, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, is because we love to reach to as many of you as possible outside of our space here. So welcome to all of you, both in person and online. Thank you so much for joining me today. And my colleague here, Christina, is also with me, but she will be exclusively in the chat box today because she is currently recovering from surgery. Okay. So I will start with our session today, which is writing a statement of purpose for U.S. graduate admission. So if you're here, I think you have a plan to apply to master or PhD degree in the States, and you are in the right place. We will talk about how you can, make an outline, the do's, the don'ts, and the tips. I will give you a few examples too on, like the bad ones, because giving good examples is actually harder because you will be the one that knows what to write. Okay. So I will start with what is Education USA? I know if this is not your first time here, you already know what we are, what we do, and what we stands for. Okay. But I just want to let this out again, just in case you're a first timer here. And if you're a first timer, you can raise your hand in Zoom or raise your hand in person here to let me know. Okay? So what is Education USA? We are a US Department of State network over 400 international student advising center in more than 170 countries. So we are seriously located in a lot of countries outside of Indonesia, and we are basically all over the world. And what we do, all of us are doing the same thing. We promote the US higher education to students around the world, giving the accurate information and guidance, comprehensive, current information about the opportunities that you have in order to pursue your higher education in the States. Okay? And everything's free of charge. All of our events are open for public and free. All of our services are also free. Okay, so in Indonesia alone, we have 6 centers, total of 7 advisors. I am one of them. So we are located in 2 centers in Jakarta. We have one in the U.S. Embassy with Mas Iqbal, and here at America in Pacific Place Mall, there's me, Santika, and Christina. And moving to Surabaya, we are located in Universitas Erlangga Unair with Mbak Amber. In Malang, we are in Universitas Muhammadiyah with Zaki. In Makassar, we are in Universitas Fajar with Cendani. Last but not least, we are also located in Banda Aceh in Universitas Islam Negeri UIN Araniri with Lilis. So if you know anybody who is, located near the center, you can contact the center directly and do advising with each of each of the advisor that is specific to the center. You don't have to come to Education USA at America, but we have a very unique operation hours that probably will work if you are young professionals or professionals who already are working, because we have evening hours. Okay. So feel free to reach out to other centers too, but we always recommend you to stick with one advisor, because it's just easier to work with the same advisor over and over and over again. Okay, unless we kind of refer you to other advisors, which sometimes happen because we sometimes have, it's easier to work with maybe the advisor locally or something like that. Okay, so I will let you know how you can contact us, but before that I want to let you know this is what we do in terms of guiding everyone who wants to go to the States to study. There are 5 steps here, so you don't have to join us from the step 1 here. Some of you will join us in the step 2. Some of you will start from the step 3, and that is fine. But if you come to us, for the step 3, and then we feel that you're not ready yet for the step 3, we will rewind you back to the step 1. Okay, and there are a lot of reasons for that, because you need to be very sure of your strategy, of your target, where you want to apply and everything before you actually apply, which is on the third step, right? Makes sense. Okay, so I'll go very briefly. So step 1 is researching your options. This means you need to know what the program that you want, level of study, um, the universities that you are planning to apply to or for. Okay. If you're not sure, we will talk about it. We will discuss, brainstorm, and we will not give you like a menu of universities to apply to, because we don't have that. Everything needs to be tailored based on what you're looking for and your best interest. So we don't do referrals. We don't do referrals like, oh, you can apply to this university and everything. Um, yeah, so we are not biased, like the institutions that you have to pay. Okay. Step 2, finance your options. If you don't know what opportunities you have, then we can discuss about it, like LPDP, Fulbright, full funding scholarship, partial scholarship, you name it. Third one is completing your application. So this is when you need to submit, your CV or resume, and then letter of recommendations, transcript, essay, and so much so forth. Okay. Um, Here in the third step, a lot of you guys actually came in for the essay review and CV and resume review, and I think that those two are like the favorite service that you guys need. So we will always try our best to provide that for everyone who needs that. And if you come in very close to your deadline, the chances are you probably will have to fight with other people to get the slot or time to meet advisors. Okay, so come in early as much as you can. And the fourth one is applying for your student visa. This is when you got accepted to any of the universities or college that you want to attend. We will be able to provide you with the step by step, but you will always be the one who apply for your student visa, just like how you apply for your own university application. Okay. So the fifth one is pre-departure orientation, which will happen next month. If you are watching this and you got accepted and you wonder what you can learn on how to prepare to before you go to the States, pre-departure orientation is the right event for you. And you can contact us if you need more details on what to expect on the pre-departure orientation and if you have any questions on your preparation to go to the States. Okay? We'll be very happy to help you. All right. So how to book an advising session with us? It's actually very simple. You can screenshot this and have the QR code. Anytime you need, you can just scan it. But you can also go to calendly.com/educationusa at America. So this is specific to at America, which means you will meet either me or Christina. But if you change this part, so calendly.com/educationusa, Indonesia, you will be choosing other centers. You will have options to meet advisors from other centers that I have mentioned because we have 6 centers in total in Indonesia. Okay, so that's how you can contact other advisors in Indonesia. And if you have not found a schedule, please come back on the next day because the Calendly is set to have plus 15 days ahead. So if you cannot find any today or it's there but it's not fitting to what you can attend, then you can come back tomorrow and see what other times available. Okay? And you can also contact us via jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org here. All right. So for our upcoming events, so wind back a bit on the advising session. We started to resume our in-person advising. So it is also reflected in the Calendly. You can go to Calendly and see our in-person advising session that you can choose if you prefer to come to at America in Jakarta. All right. So our upcoming events are available on these 2 websites at america.or.id/educationusa. So this is just a dedicated tab for Education USA on at america.or.id website. You can just go to the at America website and then navigate on your own too. You just need to scroll down and you will see our upcoming events there. Okay. And the next one is educationusa.state.gov. This is also where you can find a lot of information about Education USA. If you're still confused what we can and we cannot do, this is a good place to start. And on top of that, you can check a lot of other events from Education USA in other countries. Who knows? It helps you to navigate your further study. Okay. All right. Moving to our next event. This is the e-poster for our next event. It's how to prepare the CVs or resumes and letter of recommendation for US graduate admission. Like I said, it is exactly next week and the same time. So if you're interested, you can go and register. I've seen a few of you already register, and you can also plan to commute and come into at America for this. Okay? All right. Without further ado, we will start tonight's session. And I will have to time myself because I can go on and on without leaving you guys time to Q&A. So let's see. I will have an hour. Uh yep, I think an hour will be enough. And then we can do the Q&A for about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you have any questions when I am presenting, make sure to take notes and ask the question, or you can just send the question in the chat box if you're in Zoom, or the comment box in other platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, however, wherever you're watching. All right, so writing a statement of purpose for US graduate admission. So your essay or essays are very, very important. Why? Because almost, if not every US university will ask for at least one essay. So it kind of signify how important it is because almost, if not all, universities ask for this. Okay. You need to check any of the prompt from each of the school or even program and see if they are similar or actually asking for the same thing. After you break them down, like what is this asking for? Most likely they will be asking for the same thing, but they're using different languages and vocabularies. Okay. So then that leads us to the third point here. You can create one great essay and then you can customize it rather than you make, if you're applying to 6 to 9 different schools or programs, then it means you're making 6 to different, essays from the scratch. And you don't have to do that because Most of them will ask for the same thing. And then if you have one really great essay, you can call it the master essay. You can customize it to 6 different other school or 9 other different schools. Okay. All right. It is really important to remember that US university admission process is holistic. Holistic means they will not only take one criteria or one requirement and then set that as the benchmark, like say for GPA. If your GPA is below certain point, then you are just not going to be accepted despite of your essay is really good, your CV is really good, you have such a great experience, you have lots and lots of great stuff to offer. You're very unique and you can show them this and that. Letter of recommendations are awesome and everything. But if your GPA is certain point, then you are not going to be accepted. That is not holistic and that is wrong. It is a misconception for the US university admission process. So what really happened in the US university admission is that they're holistic. When they ask for 5 or 6 requirements or documents, it means they weigh everything together to make a decision if you are like the best fit or the best fit applicants to be in their program and in their school. So it's not only just because of one thing. You are accepted not because of one specific thing, but combination of all of the things that you submit. So I always said just give your best application, meaning everything inside your application needs to be in the best version, especially your essay. Okay? Um yes. So it's all about the best fit because most applicants have good grades. Surprise, surprise. A lot of you guys think that your GPA is not enough, but that's not the case. Okay? A great essay could help make up your weakness in other documents. Weakness itu bukan bukan failure. So a lot of people think weakness equals to failure, but it's not. Weakness means if, let's say, your TOEFL IBT or IELTS or any score that is slightly below the minimum requirement listed, that can be seen as weakness, okay? Not a failure. So in the history, there are people who have slightly less English proficiency score compared to what they wrote on the website got accepted. But of course, that's the university admission discretion why they can accept that, why they cannot accept the other one who's not fulfilling the minimum score. They have their own discretion, and that is why it's called holistic here. Intinya nggak ada jaminannya kamu harus nilai berapa, kurang berapa masih bisa diterima, itu nggak ada. But if you do your best in each of the document that you submit in your application, the one that is very outstanding, dokumen yang paling outstanding itu bisa ngebantu untuk menutupi kekurangan kalian. That's the point. Okay? All right. So there are so many terms about the essay that you need to submit to the US universities, right? Personal essay, personal statement, statement of purpose, motivation statement, motivation letter, or nothing. It just says essay. That's it. Gak ada ininya, gak ada deskripsi lain selain essaynya. So what are the difference? Okay, so don't be confused about the terminology that they use. They're interchangeable. Jadi bisa nulis ini, tapi nanti deskripsinya minta sesuatu yang mungkin kebalikan, gitu, ya. So don't be too fixated on what it asks for, but rather what is the prompt or the question, if any. Okay? So statement of purpose, or we can call it SOP, you're making a statement of your purpose, of course, as simple as that. And it means it's usually for the graduate school, academic or professional goals included there. And personal statement or essay, of course, it's about personal stuff, right? Lebih ke naratif gitu. And motivation letter is something that's really, really rarely used in the US universities. Karena term ini biasa dipakai oleh other countries, for example, European countries and the UK. So if you come to me and you said, Kak Santika, can I ask for a review for my motivation letter? My first question would be, are you only applying to the States or you're applying to the UK? Okay? There are, of course, US universities that ask for motivation letter, but so far, I've only encountered one school that do that. Okay? All right. So we always refer you or teach you guys to go for official resources, official resources, official website. Why? Because they are the only one who can tell you the updates, what they're looking for, their preferences, the guidance, everything is official from the university if you go to the university website, right? So I took this from Columbia because they explain it really well here. So I'll read it to you on what I highlighted here. So a lot of you will be confused on personal statement, statement of purpose, and if they ask for both essay, you will be confused, right? So here is the breakdown. So it really depends on your field and program of interest. Beda program itu bisa minta essay yang jenisnya berbeda. Jadi ada program yang lebih prefer kamu ngomonginnya statement of purpose. Ada program yang lebih prefer kamu bikin personal statement. Contohnya di sini kalau personal statement, if you're applying for a medical or law degree. So in consideration, probably because this field require them to know your personality more, your personal story more. That's why they're asking for something personal. Compared to, of course, if you are taking medical and law degree, kamu pasti mau jadi dokter atau jadi apa, ya kan? Yang sangat berhubungan spesifik sama medical. Jadi purpose-nya udah lumayan apa ya, self-explanatory. Jadi kayak ngapain disuruh nulis itu lagi gitu kan. So then it makes sense that if you are writing a personal statement, it has a stronger narrative element that can integrate an anecdote or scenes from your experience. Jadi mereka mungkin lebih mau mendapatkan what kind of person you are instead of what is your experience, what is your purpose of taking this law degree. Most likely you want to be a lawyer, so you don't have to put that there, right? Okay, personal statement of purpose. So if you're applying for like master or PhD program, you're likely to be asked for a statement of purpose. And this statement is actually to show your experience, interest, and goal in the field. Okay, so it is literally purpose. So why are you taking this program? What is the purpose that you want to take this program? What is your goal? How does this align with your goal? How is this program going to help you achieve your goal? Jadi biasanya promptnya kayak gitu. Oke? Okay? Kalau bahasanya beda, pas kita baca-baca lagi, kita breakdown lagi, kemungkinan besar dia meminta hal yang sama. Statement of purpose itu biasanya, what is your purpose to take this program? How this program help you achieve your personal and professional goals? And what are your experiences or qualifications? Biasanya kayak gitu, ya. Kalau personal statement kadang dia nggak bilang personal statement langsung, tapi biasa promptnya bisa kayak what is atau what was the most challenging experience that you had, how did you overcome it, what did you learn, itu biasa lebih ke tema personal statement. It's not working. Oh, it's working. All right, so next one is continued from the previous slide. So like I said, you need just to keep in mind This terminology and guidelines are not set in stone because you have to pay attention to what topics or questions. Ini yang tadi aku bilang prompt, okay? It's a question. The application asks you to answer in your statement and be sure to address them. Intinya harus menjawab pertanyaan yang diberikan. Regardless of itu personal statement, statement of purpose, and what other different terms they can use atau as simple as essay. Intinya menjawab pertanyaan yang diberikan. Whatever type statement you are asked to write, take advantage of the opportunity to bring your story to life. Make sure your essay is concise and clear and does not simply restate your resume. And finally, begin drafting early. So these are the goals of Education USA advisors like me and Kak Christina later in reviewing your essay if you come to us. Okay, we will do our best to check if you have answered the questions or the prompts that's given. Dan kita sebenarnya minta, jadi kalau kamu mau review essay sama kita, we ask you to copy paste the prompt or the question or the guidelines, let's say kayak how many words limit, character, blah blah blah, on top of your draft, and then send it to us, gitu. And next one that we will check, of course, that you do not restate your resume. I will give you a sample of a plain restate of your resume. Next slide. And finally, begin drafting early because um, the funny thing is you will not know your writing skills or ability before you start writing. Jadi kadang orang tuh bingungnya dia ngetes TOEFL IBT atau IELTS atau GRE nilainya bagus. Tapi pas dia nulis essay dia bingung karena dia beda aja gitu. Karena yang satu tes Inggris, yang satu ini benar-benar nulis gitu, nulis yang kayak bisa 1 halaman, 1,5 halaman minimal biasanya. So sometimes writing an essay is not the same as taking English test at all. So you need to start early just in case you need more time to review, to revise and blah blah blah. Sometimes brainstormingnya yang lama juga gitu. So in here it says ideally the summer before you apply. Meaning biasanya di situ mulainya yang pasti ada itu fall. So summer before apply meaning deadline-nya biasa September, starting September udah ada, Oktober, November, Desember, and stretch until January, until March the next year before the fall. So if you said summer before you apply, meaning like that's like a year before the deadline, meaning almost 2 years before you actually start studying. Oke? Tapi aku sadar itu nggak ideal untuk kebanyakan orang. Jadi dimanapun deadline kamu sekarang, mulai aja and then do your best and come to us as soon as you could. Okay? All right. So these different questions or prompts or program specific requirements. So these are some guidelines or like typical things that you will see in the essays. Yang pertama, statement of purpose. Biasanya 1 sampai 2 halaman, sekitar 500 sampai 1000 kata. This is of course an essay of yourself, personal and professional goal, why this specific program and university. Terus kadang ada more focused questions, probably 1 or 2 questions or 3 questions. Each question will be around 2 to 300 words. So these are sometimes a mix too. So sometimes they do have like statement of purpose for this match, and then they can have other essay for only a short one. So it's really depending on the program and the school. There's no rule for that. Okay, and it can also change from from 1 year to another year of their enrollments. Jadi mereka itu bisa mengubah requirement yang mereka minta ke applicants-nya se how they see fit. So there's no rule for that because the US universities are decentralized. They don't have like um like a set standard that they have to do this and that. So they can customize whatever they see fit for their program and university. Okay. The third one is a program specific questions. For example here, MBA in NYU application-nya itu minta yang namanya Pick Six ini. Jadi kamu pilih kayak 6 foto atau gambar atau grafik, terus kamu di masing-masing foto atau gambar grafik itu kamu cuman bisa jelasin 3 kalimat masing-masing. So that's really really different from other universities and other program, and they're allowed to do that in their application. Okay? So you need to check very specifically what they are looking for in their essay and the requirement to be submitted. Okay? Let's move to the next one. Okay, we are in the do's and don'ts now. So I think by now you already realize how important it is to start early, especially if you know that you struggle in writing in English. Kalau misalnya kamu kerja di environment yang selalu nulisnya di dalam bahasa Indonesia dan segala macamnya, berarti kan kamu bisa dibilang nggak terlalu biasa nulis bahasa Inggris. So that's a good sign for you to start early in drafting your essays. Okay? Moving to the second point, research the prompt or question and instructions. So you need to know the questions or the prompt in order for you to start drafting or making outlines. Reflect on your experiences, values, and goals. So that's the outline. Like I said, if you don't know the questions, you will not be able to do the outline because then you don't know what to write. And in the first place, you need to know your deadline because if you don't know how much time you have. Okay. And then if you struggle with starting to write, just do your best to start somewhere and do your best to answer the prompt or the question. Nanti baru dirapihin lagi. That's why outlining here is very recommended. So you don't have to have all of the paragraphs ready. You just need to outline it. Okay. Moving to the next point, consistent theme, topic, or goal, and realistic but not pessimistic goal or goals. I'm going to give a very brief example. Consistent theme, topic, or goal itu contohnya kalau kamu di bidang petroleum, you want to talk about petroleum and maybe gas or oil or the technology that involves that. You don't want to go from petroleum and its technology and then talk about the economic impact. That's not aligned gitu. Unless you are maybe an economist who specialize in the gas and oil industry. That's a different thing. Intinya jangan loncat dari satu ke topik lain dan nggak nyambung sama goal kamu atau nggak menjawab pertanyaan. Pokoknya out of your topic aja gitu. And out of your field of expertise. So if you're like for example yang tadi, kalau kamu ekonomis masih masuk akal kamu ngomongin aspek ekonominya. But if you are like a technician in the gas and oil industry, it will be very hard for you to talk about the economic and be an expert in that area when you write it. Okay? And okay, realistic but not pessimistic goal. So realistic is something like when you said I want to study this program and upon my graduation I plan to build kayak a startup company that help this and that cause solving this and that problem blah 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 itu realistic. Yang nggak realistic itu kayak you want to eradicate poverty like the whole for the whole world. That is unrealistic. You need to break it down again. Okay, kalau kamu mau eradicate poverty, okay. But the realistic measure is probably in, I don't know, in your hometown dulu, mulai dari hometown kamu, atau mulai dari Indonesia dulu, from your home country, or start somewhere very specific, gitu, not like for the whole world, okay? Next one is right amount of details and context to show your expertise. Tadi udah aku kasih contoh. You don't want to, you know, go too technical to the point that it feels like it's a research paper. Jadi kayak kalau kalian tahu research paper itu kita mulai dari topiknya apa, terus nanti kamu bilang kayak aku pakai mesin A, terus aku nyalain mesin A buat begini begini begini, terus habis itu hasilnya bakal begini, terus aku harus pakai mesin B, bla bla bla. That's very technical and that's very research paper. We strive away from that. Okay? So the right amount of details and context to show expertise. Contohnya the right amount of details itu misalnya kayak kamu bilang I want to let's say change the structure of the government in Indonesia, and that's general, right? You need to give more context kayak structure yang mana nih? Apakah di bagian policy-nya, apakah di bagian finance-nya, di bagian mana gitu. That is missing the context and the details gitu. Okay? So you can also book a one-on-one review session with us via Calendly like we have given to you. Nanti di akhir aku kasih lagi. And be patient and don't give up on improving. So the key takeaway in this last point is that a lot of our advices came in for essay review not only one time, not only 2 times, but some of them actually did 10 to 15 or even 20 times. I didn't count. But most of them, if not a lot of them, um, were successful. So whatever it takes for you, however many sessions it takes for you to be confident in the version of the essay that you want to submit, kita akan coba sebisa kita untuk give that session and time and dedication to you. So nggak ada limitnya. Jadi kalau kamu bilang, Kak ini cuma boleh sekali ya reviewnya. No. But what we want is to see improvement in each of your revision that you come to us. Okay? Jadi kita nggak maunya, kamu hari ini datang dengan versi A, kita udah kasih input, kamu balik lagi dengan versi A. The exact same thing. Now that is not going to help you or us to help you. Okay? So our rule is only that you come back with a revision, a different version atau improved version or new questions. Kalau bukan buat essay, misalnya kamu punya pertanyaan, it's okay to come repeatedly to just discuss and update and ask questions. But of course, new questions, new updates, right? So that we actually make progress. Okay, let's move to the don'ts. I'm gonna check the Q&A box, the chat box. Do we have questions? Oh, not so much. I'm being very clear, aren't I? So if you have questions, this is the right time to ask away because we are almost done with the presentation. Oh, not really. We can still talk about common mistakes. All right, so don't do like I have mentioned, biography or research paper. Biography itu typically kalau kamu udah recite your CV or resume plek-plekan aja gitu. Itu jadinya biography gitu ya. Nah, kalau yang tadi kebanyakan details terlalu technical jadinya research paper. Strictly following the word or page limit on the first few drafts. So I do said you need to include the questions or prompt and how many words maximum or minimum they ask for. But for the first few drafts, do not limit yourself to the word limit or the character limit because most of the time, if you do that, I've seen the drafts became jumbled. Jadi kamu nulis dari A, terus nanti kamu ke D, terus nanti kamu ke Z gitu. Jadi karena kamu harus ngerasa harus fit in semuanya di dalam 500 kata, kamu loncat-loncat aja gitu. So in the first few drafts, don't do that. Rule of thumb-nya aku biasanya misalnya maksimum 500 kata, you can go over the 50% of that. So totalnya jadi 750 kata. That is still very easy to work with. But if you go like double or triple of the maximum, that's gonna be very hard. Okay? So do your best to keep it, kalaupun extra of 50% of the maximum word limit or the character limit. Okay? Looking up for essay samples on the internet. This is one of the biggest mistake that anyone could do, because once you see other people's samples on the internet, which you don't even know who that person is, you will have an expectation. So, for example, a lot of my advices came in like, they write a draft, and then I read the draft and I ask questions, critical questions kayak, oh kenapa kamu ngebahasnya ini dan bla bla bla. Dan kebanyakan jadinya nggak nyambung karena they try to fit into what they saw in the internet, the samples. Terus jawabannya biasanya begini, ya kak, kemarin aku ngelihat sampel dari Google, harus ada unsur ini dan itunya. Makanya aku tambahin kayak gini, just to fit into that expectation. Padahal kan nggak ada ininya. There's no golden rule or mold for you to be accepted to any US universities with any template in the essay. Essay itu template-nya introduction, body paragraph, conclusion. That's the template for the essay, not the content. So if you're looking for a template content on the internet, you are going to have a hard time on making your own genuine essay. So don't do that. Okay? And of course, you don't even know if that person is actually accepted or not. Right? Next one is plagiarism, plain copy pasting. So if you want to cite any data or paragraphs or sentence, you need to put a quotation mark, and then as brief as based on this source or that source. Jadi nggak perlu in text citation kayak ada angka kecilnya terus di bawah ada resource-nya, itu nggak usah. Tapi sesimpel kalau aku nge-quote sesuatu dari the World Bank, I write based on the World Bank's data tahun segini ngomongin ini. Sesimpel itu. Okay? But if you just copy paste and then as if you wrote that, it will be very easy to spot. And I've done so a few times, and I'm not even a native speaker. Jadi kamu bisa bayangin kalau orang yang native speaker, bahasa utamanya adalah Inggris, lebih gampang lagi buat mereka untuk tahu kamu itu kalau itu tuh copy pasting gitu, ya. Reciting CV or resume, like I said, again, it became your biography, and only listing achievement in chronological or reverse order. Jadi intinya kamu cuma recite CV aja. Nanti aku kasih contohnya. Accidentally submit essays meant for other country or university or program. So you don't want to, when you customize, you want to double check or triple check the program name and the university name that you customize. You don't want to submit something for, say, A university, and then you submit it to Z university. Ketahuan dong, oke? Okay? Ketahuan dong kamu cuman kayak ngeganti part itu dan the rest of the things are the same. It means you don't really put effort in learning what the university have to offer. It means you are making a general essay, okay? Which you don't want to do. A lot of typos and grammatical errors. This is everyone's problem. So don't beat yourself up if you feel like, your grammar is bad and everything. Because we are not a native speaker, it's very natural to make grammatical errors. And even native speakers make those mistakes. So you can use some, websites or apps that can help you to check, but don't follow all of the suggestions to change the whole sentence and the whole paragraph, just do the small things on the grammar, so that it still stays your style of writing, but without the grammatical errors. Okay. Contractions. I will, I should have, I didn't, don't. Sebenarnya ini bukan apa ya? It's not a hard rule kayak nggak boleh, tapi emang a lot of the university websites that I found in the States, they kind of say avoid contractions. And in a way, if you use these things in your essay, sometimes they interfere with the flow of the reading. So if you can, and also it adds to the informality, I guess. So you can, avoid these contractions and spell them all out. Dan sebenarnya kalau kamu perhatiin kayak didn't, don't itu kan paling sering dipakai dan naratifnya jadinya negatif. And if you avoid these two contractions, you probably end up with a more positive tone because two words itu kalau kamu ada word count, ada maximum word count, did not sama did not kan negatif, but if you say did, it's positive, right? And it's only one word instead of two words. So that's that. And cliches or general, statement, generalization. Everyone is expected to be, um, being poor is hard. That is such a generalization. Dan kayak semua orang tahu gitu. Ya, so we want to avoid that. Using negative perspective or point of view in the whole essay. So tadi balik lagi lanjutin didn't sama don't. If you avoid using these two aja, udah mengubah ke agak perspektif yang agak positif. Ya. Controversial or highly unconventional topics, like personal beliefs, religion, politics. If these are the program that you apply to, it's fine. But if it's not, then we would suggest you don't go into these, sensitive, highly unconventional topics whenever we cannot do it gitu. Jadi kalau bisa enggak, ya jangan. Okay? So these are the most common mistakes. Tadi aku udah bahas juga. CV or resume recitation. So for example, I put myself here. So I can write, my name is Santika. I was born in Jakarta, Indonesia. I earned my bachelor degree in business administration from X University in 2015. After that, I started working in A company for 2 years until 2017. Then I got a job as a accountant in B company, and so on and so forth. Masalahnya di sini adalah ini udah di CV, ini juga udah ini mungkin nggak ada di CV, tapi they can tell that I am based in Jakarta, Indonesia based on my address, right? Dan nggak relevan juga kalau promptnya nanyain kenapa kamu mau apply ke program ini, how this program help you achieve your goal. These are not relevant, right? I earned my bachelor degree in ini. Ini ada di CV sama resume for sure. And it's also in my transcript that I submit. So double repetition, ya. Again, ini juga semuanya udah bakal ada di CV karena kita submit CV atau resume itu reverse chronological order of where we work, languages, skills, organizations. Those are kind of included in the resume. It is, of course, impossible to not repeat anything from the CV or resume if we talk about our work, if we talk about our volunteer experience in the essay. But what makes this is such a biography karena aku bener-bener pakai nih 2 tahun terus sampai tahun segini itu bener-bener reciting. Okay, so that's too much reciting. So when I said it's reciting CV or resume, it means it's just kayak plek-plekan kamu cuma naratifin CV sama resume kamu. Bukan ada additional lagi. Misalnya kita ngomongin pengalaman kerja aku di company A. I can talk about how I can achieve those things that I put in company A in my CV or resume. For example, aku tulis di CV, aku achieve sales 500.000 unit. Di essay, aku bisa tulis kayak, in order for me to achieve that, my team and I have to reach out to 2,000 um, companies or stores, to boost the sales. Nah, itu kan nggak ada di CV atau di resume. And it shows how you achieve those achievements in the story. Gitu. Okay? Okay, another one. General statement. Tadi aku udah kasih contoh juga. Being poor nowadays is very difficult. Nobody wanted to be in a situation where basic need is a luxury. I believe everyone deserve to live a decent condition regardless of blah blah blah. Ini semua orang bisa relate, tapi nggak ada personal aspeknya, gitu. So that's why it's stated here. It's general statement, and we want to be specific, gitu. Okay. Alright. So kita bahas dari introduction paragraph ya. Introduction paragraph is the hardest because it's where you start. And that is very normal to don't know where to start, don't know what to write in the first sentence, the first word, what should I start with? The easiest one, of course, is my name is, but that's not recommended, like totally not recommended. Bukan berarti kalau kamu nulis my name is apa, terus kamu nggak akan keterima, bukan. Tapi kayak, can you imagine how many people can write that? Gitu. Like, you want to be authentic, you want to be, this essay only you can write. So if you write my name is siapa, kemungkinan kan banyak orang lain yang bisa nulis kayak gitu juga, walaupun namanya beda. So personal or non-personal approach, this you probably have to choose, but along the essay, you don't have to like stick to one. Jadi kayak misalnya kamu nulis essay, kamu ngerasanya, oh ini essay harus semuanya tentang personal. Oh ini essay harus semuanya tentang non-personal atau tentang kerja doang. So it doesn't have to be like that because I think it's a bit impossible to separate personal or non-personal in the essay that you submit to the US university's application. Because if they ask you why you want to take this master or PhD, when you said supaya aku bisa lebih qualified buat ngerjain kerjaan A, B, C atau D. And then it ties to your personal, right? Like that's your personal goal and your career goal. So it's impossible to not switch between these two. So don't stress about, oh aku harus stick to one or just one approach here. Okay? And this is also another one, the start of your theme or topic. It's gonna be a bit tricky. You have to kind of decide kamu mau ngomongin apa. Dan topik tema essay itu di-establish in the first paragraph. Okay, whether you want to talk about economic, you want to talk about your childhood, you want to talk about, I don't know, the hunger or the hunger issues or the water shortage in certain area, itu udah terserah kamu temanya, ya. Use a hook or cliffhanger at the end of the paragraph. So it has to be interesting enough for people to want to read the next paragraph. Gitu. Nggak harus yang kayak heboh kayak I don't know, ngasih statement yang super super controversial supaya orang tetap mau baca, nggak harus kayak gitu. So sometimes a hook or cliffhanger is as simple as just stating the problem and then you can go to the next paragraph continuing to talk more about the problem. Gitu. Ya. Avoid my name is like I said. Could add some facts to raise readers' attention. Kayak tadi aku bilang, kalau kamu mau cite any facts or data or statistics, sesimpel just you can write based on siapa, by this data, by that data, according to blah 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 gitu. tapi harus dimasukin. Jadi angka itu kadang lebih, eee, attractive to be between the text. Karena angka itu kan pasti akan pop up sendiri kan daripada kata-kata lain. So having a few facts or numbers will help. Oke, let's go to body paragraph. So body paragraph itu, nggak ada patokannya juga, boleh berapa paragraf, tapi di, apa ya namanya, diproporsionalkan dengan, the length of your whole essay. Jadi kalau misalnya essay yang pendek kayak 250 kata, ya kayaknya 2 paragraf aja cukup gitu. Jadi you probably can make 3 paragraphs, but then the body paragraph is only 1 in the middle, gitu. So elaborate the issue or problem or idea from your outline, which means it's also from the first paragraph, right? Make comparison, give some facts or brief citation, like I said before. Context is important. Don't assume they will know where and what is Jakarta if you did not add capital city of Indonesia. Ini sebenarnya sampel yang kayak most likely they will know if they have a lot of Indonesians applying, right? Or they have been to Indonesia before, that probably they know. But kalau yang kayak kebanyakan advice aku tuh bukan di Jakarta, they can write about Banda Aceh, and then I don't think a lot of Americans will know where Banda Aceh is, right? So you need to give them a context. Kayak yang paling kiri di Indonesia lah, yang paling kanan di Indonesia lah, populasinya kurang lebih segini. Kalau mau bikin comparison mungkin kayak seukuran state yang mana di Amerika gitu-gitu, ya. Why do you choose the program and university? Is usually in the body of paragraph. Mention specific courses you need, inspiring professors, the one that you're keen to work with. Include a sentence or two about their experience, expertise area or research. Jadi ini the last 2 point is something that you need to have in your body paragraph. Okay? Kalau ada template content ya ini template-nya. Dan ini harus spesifik per program dan per university. This is what you customize in your essay to different universities. All right, let's move on. Continue. What attract you to the program? Know the strength and uniqueness and the fit of the program and institution. Refer to specific aspect or focus of the program that matches your interest and goal. Demonstrate clear career goals and what is the impact and for who. Avoid redundancy, same point and maybe different words that you use, or simply repeating the same words over and over again juga nggak recommended di body paragraph. Okay? So yes, like I said, ini continuation kalau misalnya ada template on what to write in your essay, these are what you need to include. Okay? Okay, moving to conclusion paragraph. So we wrap up this whole essay, and then you don't want to, pop up a new topic or idea in the closing paragraph, of course. Karena jadinya kayak malah raising questions. What's next after you earn the degree, and be realistic but ambitious. I know it's hard, but yeah, you won't be taking an MBA just to be a manager. You know what I mean? Apalagi kalau misalnya kamu tuh udah punya 7 tahun pengalaman kerja, terus kamu bilang kamu mau ngambil master ini supaya bisa jadi manager. It will seem like you are underestimating yourself when you write that and they read that. Okay? Short term, long term goals, brief detailed plan how to achieve those on top of your study or program. And what else? Avoid new idea, like I said, because they could, raise new or unanswered question. Summary or overview of the whole essay with a stronger highlight as it should be shorter and more direct. Lastly, avoid I believe I am the best candidate. Karena semua essay kamu dari atas sampai kamu tutup essay kamu itu tuh emang udah harus, apa ya, udah harus letting them know that you are the best candidate. So if you have to write this again, it means your essay did not have this point. Okay? Again, if you write this sentence, like I believe I'm the best candidate, bukan berarti kamu pasti ditolak, bukan. Tapi again, reflect it back on how many people will write this and how this admission office committee are so bored reading this sentence here. Gitu. Karena bakal di skip aja sama mereka. It's flowery. You know what I mean? Okay. Moving to what makes your SOP great. We have about 12 minutes left. And I'm going to check the questions if we have lots of questions. We don't. I think. Yeah, so far, no. Oh, we have a few questions already. Yay. All right, happy to answer after I finish this. So let's move on to this. Okay, what makes your SOP great? It's clear and you don't assume that your reader understands everything. Plus, you are the expert. So you need to be able to explain because you are the expert. Okay? And then it's concise. You don't repeat the same phrases for too many times. Jadi kayak di tiap line ada aja tuh kata-kata yang kamu ulang terus, yang sama terus gitu. Kayak SOP, 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 SOP. We don't want to do that, okay? It's really hard to read that kind of essay. You want to be organized, making sure to make sure that you answer all of the questions and organize itu ya yang kayak tadi, kayak kalau body paragraph tuh ada ini. Tuh, jadi pas di conclusion tinggal nge-recap aja. Jadi bukan kasih new topic lagi yang seharusnya di intro atau di body paragraph. Relevant continuity from one paragraph to another. Ini artinya nyambung gitu. Jadi bukan kayak kamu ngomongin A, terus habis itu kamu loncat ke D, ya tadi aku bilang, ya. Sets you apart from other applicants. And this is in the details. Kalau kamu bisa ngasih detail, ya ya kemungkinan orang lain walaupun fieldnya sama, nggak mungkin bisa ngasih detail yang sama. And it is proven with my experience of reading hundreds of essay, sama-sama ngomongin industry 4.0, tapi ngebahas hal yang berbeda untuk industry 4.0. Okay? Speaks to your audience, the admissions committee. So yes, like I said, kamu nggak mau berasumsi mereka ini tahu semuanya just because they are the admission committee. You don't want to assume that they know all of the faculty member or the professors just because they are the admission committee. So why you still need to mention kayak Profesor A misalnya, dia expertise di sini, pengalamannya pernah atau pernah pengalaman research di Indonesia untuk ini dan itu. Kenapa kamu harus menulis? It's because they won't know everybody in the whole school, right? They probably heard, tapi mereka mungkin nggak akan tahu orang ini tuh pernah research ini, pernah research itu di Indonesia loh. Okay? Establish your voice because you have to be the expert. Jadi harus lumayan pede. Jadi jangan yang kayak I think, itu nggak pede, ya kan? Kalau kayak I concluded through my research of this and that, itu berarti kamu udah tahu gitu because you did it and you know for sure. Tapi kalau kamu bilang kayak I think it's not relevant, kayak berarti kamu nggak yakin kan? And be honest, don't overinflate your achievement, but also don't underestimate yourself. Overinflate itu kayak kamu bisa nulis sesuatu yang kayak nobody will be able to achieve this thing. Itu overinflate, ya. Tapi kalau underestimate kayak my grade is the lowest among the whole cohort, yet I am, yet I graduated, bla bla bla. Jadi kayak, kayak bingung gitu. Sebenarnya is it an achievement or it's not an achievement, right? So you don't want to do that with yourself. All right, we move on to the last part of the presentation, which is the writer's block. Writer's block itu kalau kalian udah nulis nih, atau bahkan pas kalian baru mau mulai nulis, tapi kalian nggak tahu mau nulis apa. That's a block, right? Intinya apapun yang membuat kalian berhenti menulis atau nggak bisa lanjut nulis, kayak nggak tahu aja buntu gitu, ya. Okay, so some tips to overcome the writer's block. Of course, this does not, all of these things probably will not work for everybody, but you can try. Just start writing down your thoughts. So, for example, coming to events like this, events that's, talk about this kind of essay and everything, sometimes gives you new idea. So, write down your ideas when that pops up in events like this, or when you're talking with anyone about your essay, about your experience, and then you're like, oh, boleh nih nulis ini nih, gitu. Jot that down in your notes, in your phone, I don't know. Do something about it, okay? Just start writing down your thoughts and worry about how it sounds later on. Jadi tulis dulu aja, jangan khawatir kayak, aduh ini terlalu gini nggak ya, terlalu gitu nggak ya, itu dipikirinnya nanti. If necessary, you can write in Bahasa Indonesia first, if that helps you to, get the idea, tie down the idea first. Record your conversation about the topic or your thoughts if you kayak lagi kepikiran dan lebih comfortable in recording karena takut kalau tulisan mungkin bingung nulisnya gimana, ya udah langsung record voice note aja. Atau kalau kamu conversation sama temen atau siapapun, ya kamu record aja juga gitu. Just as like when you're brainstorming gitu. Write as long as possible and worry about the word limit if any later. Like I said, of course ini aku tulis kayak kamu nulis sesuka kamu dulu, tapi tetap misalnya kalau ada word limit, ya please know that if you went over like twice or triple of the word limit, it's really hard for you to nanti kamu bingung sendiri mau potong di mana nih, which part should I cut off and everything. That's actually more challenging. Jadi kalau kamu mau write as long as possible dan ada word limit, kalau bisa um, set a target nggak lebih dari berapa banyak gitu ya. Ask others who know you well, mungkin profesor kamu, colleagues, friends, to help you brainstorm. Jadi sesimpel kayak kamu bisa ngomong kayak, aku pengen master nih atau PhD nih. Em, tapi misalnya kalau aku bahas ini menurut kamu gimana dan segala macam. So as simple as that, okay? Or you can come to us to brainstorm. Um, But most of the time we will tell you to write it down first because if you ask kalau verbal verbal nanya, "Kak, boleh nggak aku nulis kayak gini 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 gini?" Kan aku belum lihat tulisannya kan. Jadi aku nggak akan bisa bilang, "Ini aku ngerti kamu nulis apa," gitu. Because the whole point of the essay is we will understand if we read your essay or your text. So if you verbally ask me, "Can I write this or that?" Of course I will tell you to write it down first and show me the writing. Okay? Lastly, ask strangers for an honest opinion or review, which could be Education USA advisors. Um, so some of my advices actually go to, more um, more input. Kayak they went to different people too to seek input. Jadi kayak mungkin coworkernya, seniornya, alumni yang mereka kenal, atau kakak kelas, atau whoever they trust to help them review their essay. And here is my tips for that. You can go to as many people that you trust to share your essay draft and brainstorm and ask for input, but be very selective. Jadi jangan sampai kebanyakan sampai kamu bingung sendiri. Karena nanti jadinya bukan essay kamu, tapi essay dari kumpulan semua input itu. Jadi bukan bukan essay yang benar-benar kamu mau sampaikan. Gitu. So be selective and limit how many people you go to seek input for, at least for the same essay ya. Jadi kalau satu essay kamu ke 5 orang yang berbeda untuk 5 input yang berbeda, itu nanti kamu pusing sendiri gitu. Apalagi kalau lima-limanya tuh dari background yang berbeda. Yang satu mungkin di bidang finance, yang satu di bidang yang satu di bidang bisnis, yang satu di bidang education. Nah, itu kan bingung tuh. Nanti mereka perspektifnya beda semua gitu. So just limit the amount of input that you are able to handle, especially for one essay gitu. If you are going for different people for different in different essay for different input, then that's probably okay. Okay? All right, last but not least, start early. Again, reminder. Ini of course, like I said, 2 years before the program starts itu nggak ideal untuk a lot of people. But 1 month before the deadline is also not doable. Especially if you come to us, biasanya kalau udah deket-deket sama deadline, like October, November, December, itu bener-bener pack banget dan nggak mungkin kita bisa nge-squeeze in kamu kayak 3 kali review dalam sebulan. That's not doable, gitu. So, you need to come to us as soon as you know you want to apply for, let's say, if right now you're applying for fall 2023, you need to come in like next week. Start coming in like next week. You know what I mean? Gitu. Pokoknya secepatnya yang kamu bisa, nggak nunggu sampai 1 bulan sebelum deadline aja deh, karena aku mau kumpulnya kayak bulan Desember. Aku datangnya bulan November aja. When November comes, you probably can only meet us like 1 or 2 times maximum. 2 times you will be very lucky. Karena kamu rebutan sama ratusan orang lainnya. Gitu. Dan nggak cuman center kita doang, EducationUSA Amerika doang, tapi juga center-center lain di Indonesia. Not to mention we are the only one with the evening hours, dan kebanyakan kalau kalian udah kerja, kalian bisanya malam, kalian rebutan sama lebih banyak orang lagi gitu yang mau jamnya jam malam begitu. Okay, not a biography out of your CV but a complementary of it. Your character, values, short-term and long-term goals. Complementary ya, jadi kayak tadi aku bilang nggak mungkin kita nggak ngebahas kerjaan kita, nggak mungkin kita nggak ngebahas. If you want to talk about an enriching experience when you volunteer, ya nggak mungkin kamu nggak bahas kan. But then it's a complementary, it's not a repetition ya. Ask who, what, where, when, and how. Ini typical kalau kita nulis essay, harus ada integration between untuk siapa, apa, di mana, kapan, dan bagaimana. Karena ini semua yang nambah detail dan konteksnya ya. Oke, terakhir, write, revise, review, and it's a cycle. Okay, write, revise, review, it's a cycle until you are very confident to submit your essay, or whichever comes first, atau deadline kamu udah approach duluan. Oke, jadi kalau bisa sih emang ideally pas kamu udah pede. Jadi bukan karena deadline-nya udah deket ya kamu belum pede juga kamu harus submit. Ya, that's not gonna be the best application, I would say. Okay? And of course, reviewing your essay with us will be very easy. Sorry, that's the timer. It's time for us to go to the Q&A. Alright, so intinya kamu kita ngeceknya content, structure, and comprehensiveness. We do not check grammar, although we will be able to spot the basic grammar errors, but we are not a native speaker, so we will not be an expert to do the grammar checking for you specific, ya. We cannot review essay that is in Bahasa Indonesia, unfortunately, because of course you will submit your essay in English. We want you to at least start practicing putting what you want to say in English, even though if it leads to confusion for me or anyone who reads it, kita bisa bahas dan bagaimana caranya kamu revisi lagi supaya lebih dimengerti di dalam bahasa Inggris. Okay? All review sessions are real time, one-on-one virtually via Zoom, and also right now in person. Jadi kalau kalian booking yang in person advising, itu terserah kalian. Kalian mau bahas CV kayak, mau bahas essay kayak, mau nanya-nanya kayak, bisa. Tapi kalau bisa, please write in the Calendly appointment notes what you need in that in person session. Supaya kita bisa ready dan kamu juga tahu what to prepare for that in-person session, ya. So you can book your session on again calendly.com/educationusa at America, or you can scan this. And if you cannot find any schedule, you can come back tomorrow karena tiap hari ada slot baru yang kebuka. And if you want to reach out to other centers, you can just change the end of that link, calendly.com/educationusa Indonesia. Okay? Sesimpel itu, and we are done. So let's go for the Q&A. All right, so let's do our Q&A. I will go for the first question. So we have a question from Pinurba in Zoom. Hello Kak, is it possible to start writing essays for two different programs? I still consider between MBA and MSc in accounting. My deadline is about 6 months. Give me tips, please. Thank you. So, Pinurba, I think your name is very familiar. So I think you either joined a lot of our events already by now, or you have came for advising sessions. Either way, thank you so much for coming back to us. And under normal circumstances, I will not recommend you to apply to two different programs because it shows that you're not that sure about each or which program you want to really, really want and really, really need. Jadi, normally I will not um, let, you know, bukan let sih, kayak kalau kamu datang ke kita untuk nge-review essay, aku akan stick with one essay dulu, udah kelar, udah pede, udah oke, baru move on to other essay. Whether or not it's the same program or a different program, gitu. Jadi nggak bisa nih, hari ini kamu datang buat ngebahas essay MBA, next week kamu datang untuk ngebahas essay yang buat accounting. Karena kayak jadi bingung gitu kan. I haven't even see the follow-up of my input for your MBA essay. And now we jump into different essay already. So that's not gonna work. Okay? So my recommendation is finish one and then move to another. Mau sama atau beda program terserah gitu. Tapi rekomendasi kita selalu kalau bisa focus on applying to same or similar, very similar program to different schools, comparing to applying to kayak MBA, terus nanti kayak Master in Economics, terus nanti Master in Finance, itu kayak karena kamu pembahasannya bakal beda-beda semua. And it means you are making your essay from almost from the scratch again. Okay, I hope that helps answering Pinurba. Moving to, okay. Untuk Atina, hi, what preparations do I need to make or documents to submit if I want to schedule one-on-one essay review? So it is on the Calendly page. When you click on the essay review, itu udah ditulis di situ. You just need to submit your draft in Word document file to our email jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org. Before or, yeah, recommended before the session that you book. Okay? Untuk Rini, ini ada pertanyaan. Thank you for the great insights, Kak. I am a little bit confused regarding not repeating the CV or resume. Alright, so thank you for joining, Rini. How far is too much reciting? How far is too much reciting itu indicator aku adalah kalau kamu udah mulai di tahun segini aku mulai kerja di sini. Terus 5 tahun kemudian aku pindah ke sini atau I got promoted to do this in other company atau gimana. That's the best indicator that you are reciting your CV or resume because that's the order that you have in your CV or resume, right? Moving to, or we could add essential information on how we achieve it or the importance of experiencing something on the CV. Yes. So, tadi aku udah bahas juga yang kayak misalnya kamu bilang achievementnya adalah bullet point kamu misalnya achieve sale 500.000 units. Di essay kamu bisa complement that achievement in the bullet point of your CV by saying the struggle that you have to go through in order for you to achieve that. Okay? So in short, yes. Probably you can give some example on these And I just did. Okay. So I hope that answer your question, Rini. Again, kalau kamu udah nulis essay kamu, udah ada draftnya, you can just go directly to book the one-on-one essay review, and we will be able to dissect your draft further. Jadi kayak tadi aku bilang, kalau namanya essay review itu, kalau kita pakai verbal, boleh nggak nulis ini itu, nggak akan ketahuan. Ngerti apa enggak sih, poinnya delivered apa enggak, itu nggak akan ketahuan karena it's not in the writing. Okay? Nafasha, hi Kak, Santika and team, any advice on making a consistent team topic by not giving too many examples? Hmm, coba bikin outline dulu. Kalau kamu udah bikin outline, timnya misalnya kamu mau ngomongin Industry 4.0, that's your introduction, right? And then body paragraphnya misalnya 2. Kamu bakal ngomongin Industry 4.0 di Indonesia tuh gini 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 gini. Itu the body paragraph pertama. Body paragraph keduanya mungkin bisa what's the problem and how you think taking this program will help you solve that problem and blah blah blah, right? That's the outline. And then the conclusion mungkin kamu mau ngomongin what's your future goals gitu. So make an outline to make sure you have consistent theme or topic dulu. Nanti baru di-develop dari bullet point kamu yang outline itu, jadikan paragraph, jadikan essay draft. Okay, I hope that helps, Nafasha. I think you already come in for advising session, so you just need to come in again. You can book 30 minutes if you have any updates or questions. Atau kayak bener-bener bingung where to start, then we can talk more about that too. But my tips would be again, kamu coba tulis dulu, and then send it to us, and then we can talk. Terakhir, Arifia. Hello Kak, I would like to ask, do the goals I write in the essay must always be grand? Grand as in kayak heboh kayaknya ya. For example, I should write that my goal of taking the program is to make an impact on society or home country because I'm an international student. Or can I just write down my personal goal? Hmm, so, like I said, nggak ada harus nulis apa, harus goalnya apa dan segala macam. Dan sebenarnya yang kalau kita ngomongin harus nulis impact ke society sama home country, itu lebih ke essay untuk scholarship. Especially scholarships like LPDP, and LPDP itu Indonesian Fund for Education atau LPDP, or Fulbright, because obviously they are funded by the country, right? Like kalau LPDP kan fundingnya Indonesian government, Fulbright kan fundingnya American government. But both of them require you to sign a contract that states you will be coming back to Indonesia. Yeah, of course, they are looking for someone who can give a better contribution or greater contributions to the country, right? So itu lebih buat ke scholarship, tapi kalau ke university nggak harus gitu. Some of the goals can be as specific as changing your neighborhood, and that's okay. Jadi nggak ada yang nggak boleh, nggak ada yang harus gimana gitu. Selama kamu specific enough, you know that you can achieve it. Kayak apa ya? Kayak kamu bisa ngelihat kamu achieve that when you take this program from this school. Selama kamu bisa lakuin itu, apapun goalnya nggak apa-apa. And of course, it has to be a positive goal ya, not a negative one. Yeah, when you said, or can I just write down my personal goal? So sometimes the essay will ask you both goals, personal and professional goals. And if you have the personal goals, you probably need to connect it to the professional goals to complete and completely answer all of the aspects that's required in the prompt or the questions for the essay. Okay. I think that's all for tonight. Do we have more questions? Let me refresh my page. And we are just right on time, 5 minutes before the closing. Yep, that's all for tonight. I hope I answered all of your questions. And oh, we have one more. So ini dari Subahagia. Hi, I believe some schools, especially B schools, has different questions on their essay requirement. Can I bring them to have a consultation essay? All right. So because we advocate for all of the schools in the states, we are not familiar, especially me. I'm not familiar with the level of the school, category of the schools, and everything. Karena kita nggak bisa bias. So regardless of whichever group they belong to, it doesn't matter to us, right? Dan tadi aku udah bahas juga kayak ada MBA di NYU itu pertanyaannya beda sendiri, pick six and everything like that. Dan itu nggak sepenuhnya essay, cuman kayak masukin 6 gambar atau foto, terus kamu deskripsikan kenapa mereka meaningful for you and everything, maksimum 3 kata, 3 sentence per photos or picture. Then we actually receive a few advices who came to us for that, and we are okay with that. So I don't see a limitations as long as you can provide the questions and the draft that you wrote. Jadi whatever the question is, just copy paste it on top of your draft. Jadi kita bisa bantu cek ya, in the same document. All right, so that's that for tonight. Thank you so much everyone for coming in and asking questions, being involved. I look forward to meet all of you guys again, if not more of you guys, in our next event next week. Thank you everyone, and I'll give it back to our At America team. Bye.
Thank you so much, Kak Santika and also Kak Christina for the fruitful discussion. So early Stephen, we had a question of the day. The question was, is it true or false Modi Ayunda graduated from Stanford University with 2 postgraduate degrees in the period of time it takes to complete one? And the answer is true. She completed a joint degree program that allowed her to take both an MBA and MA in education simultaneously. Shout out to @AnisaU from Instagram for answering correctly. Thank you so much for everyone who has participated to our question of the day. Don't forget to tune in next time and catch a chance to get a live shout out from us. Now you may be wondering what are our upcoming events. You can check on our website at www.america.or.id and you can check over there what will be happening in our site. So while you are all on our website, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter to get our weekly event updates. You can also find us on our social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AT America. You can get fun content, giveaways, and so much more. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for joining us. My name is Aninda, and thank you, everyone. Bye bye.